Okay, everybody, welcome back to another Modern Horizons 2 set review for, I guess, Modern and some other formats in Magic. We're here today with the Pro Tour, Players Tour, Rivals League competitor, F&M champion, Game Day champion, whatever you want to call him, Eli Loveman, the Master of Humans himself. And today we're going to be talking about the black cards from the set. So to start off with, we've got a real big heavy hitter. We've got Arkhan of Cruelty. The sort of Uro, reverse Uro, or whatever the hell you want to call it here.
Yeah. Well, this one I think I wouldn't normally worry about, but this set does have a reanimation theme that specifically says non-legendary because they want to make things more interesting than just putting Gristlebrand into play. And I think this is the best thing to put into play with a couple cards in this set. There's two reanimation spells that we'll be going over later. But this is like, there's a couple of like, this like Shattering Titan or some other Terrastons, other big fatties, but this one I think definitely is amongst those cards in terms of being a big dumb idiot that is not a legend. Yeah, once again, not a legend. It's very important.
Yeah, I just want to put Lightning Reeves on this thing in EDH and get in there, but it seems like it might be decent for those reanimator strategies, but if you're trying to Goryo's Vengeance something into play, there's better choices, but who knows? It's big, it's dumb, it's got a bunch of keywords, it's sort of like Uro, except, you know, this one costs 8 mana and that one costs 4.
Does not get hosed by Caracas.
Doesn't get hosed by Caracas, because great.
That's important sometimes, man.
Next up, at a common, we've got Bone Shards. Let me just scroll down here to it.
Is this one the discard a card?
This is the discard a card, sacrifice a creature to destroy target creature or planeswalker. There are some decks that Eli and I have played that this card might go in. There's some Blood Artist decks out there. There's some Kitchen Finks decks out there. But this just seems like a on the face pretty powerful card.
Well, I think the most important thing about this card is that they banned this little card. You might have heard of it. It's called Faithless Looting, and this is a 1 mana discard outlet, which there are not a lot going around anymore. So it's always important to pay attention to those. You have like this card, and you have Instant Neonite. So this one is a little bit more impactful than a 1/1 for 1 or drawing a card. Killing something and putting your thing in the graveyard is a good rate for what you want to do with that.
Goes good with the Arkhan that we just talked about.
Exactly.
Put it in the graveyard. Other than that, nothing too earth-shattering, nothing too groundbreaking here. Something about breaking, and it's not breaking the law. We've got Break the Ice here. The 2 mana, destroy target land, clears snow, or produces colorless mana. And then it overloads to destroy all of them. I love this card.
Yeah, I don't know. Black, is that the cost?
It is.
Yeah, black is a little bit tough, but I think that, like, you know, your first thought obviously is blowing out a Tron player.
Yes.
Making them regret their life decisions
yes.
and all that. But there are, you know, plenty of colorless lands that you probably want to kill. Inkmoth Nexus is probably the number one on that list.
Yeah.
There, but I don't know, there's utility lands like. Getting a stone right off isn't the hardest thing, and in a mid-range mirror, sometimes the tempo is good to kill their utility land, so it's not just a one-known sideboard card.
Yeah, it definitely has some uses outside of that. Maybe if people playing Counterspell, you're going to have more filter lands also, and those produce colorless, and if you blow one of those up, you might...
Mystic Gate.
Yeah, you might set off somebody's mana development. Other than that, you look at this card, you know what it does, you know who you want to screw over with it. Next up, at rare, we've got another card. Just how in the living hell did they not make a card called Damn already? It's 2021. The game came out in, what, 1993? How in all that time have we not had a card called Damn yet?
Yeah. There's a lot of one-word cards in this set where you're like, oh, this is the first time for that one? Interesting. But this one, maybe because of Satanic Panic or, you know, kids in the 90s or whatever. But as far as decks that could go into, it's pretty bad. It's okay. It's not that great on either mode by itself, so you would definitely want to play it in a white-black deck and have he makes use of the flexibility of this card. So I think Esper Control could be see use for this one. Also note that it is not an actual clean Wrath of God, even though that is the kind of thing that it's paying homage to. So if you overload this, you will not kill Slippery Bogle. I repeat, don't kill a Slippery Bogle. So watch out for that interaction.
It seems like Winds of Abandon might just be better than this one. You overloaded it, wedged their board instead
of yours. If you're playing
specifically
specifically white-black, then this card has some flexibility.
Yeah. Might see play, who knows?
Yeah.
Cool name, cool art. Next up, we have at Mythic, the Douthie Voidwalker, which is not actually at Mythic. Eli messed up on the spreadsheet here. It's a rare.
Oops.
But we have got Douthie Voidwalker. This has 1 million keywords on it. This one actually seems pretty damn good.
Yeah, so first of all, it is graveyard hate when it acts like a ley line on the void. It's like kind of an efficient body. Yeah, it's okay as far as the stats go. But this tap ability is just like holy bananas. Like, you sacrifice the creature and then you get any of the spells that it exiled with its ability. Like there are some just like randomly broken starts that you could have with this card where you go like turn 2 this, turn 2 Thoughtseize your Tron opponent, and cast the Ruler Mog. Like it says without paying the mana cost.
Yeah.
For like no reason. I mean, I guess you have to sacrifice it.
There's a lot of cards like that in Modern. Like you could do Primeval Titan, you could do Karn, you could do Wormcoil Engine,
if you randomly
Fairy.
If you just randomly snag something crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Discard
like,
spells.
Even in like prowess decks that you're like, oh, you can still hit that like 5 mana 3/3 flyer or whatever.
Yeah,
like.
I guess like you do kind of have you do have to like Thoughtseize them or like mill them or something. Like if they just are playing, if you just like they lightning bolt one of your different creatures and you sacrifice this to cast lightning bolt, that's fine. Like you're just turning this and you're just trading this for like a good card. But like there are just like random busted like openings you can have with Thoughtseizing specific, and I guess the mythic rare evoke creature is also okay with this as well.
Yeah, seems like there might be some sort of mono black aggro, mono black mid range sort of resurgence here. Get your Phyrexian Obliterators right now.
Let's go.
Next up, we got to scroll down a little bit here. We've got the other evoke card, a very powerful one. The one that was first spoiled, where everybody crapped their pants about it. We've got Grief. So don't give me any grief, Eli. But what do you think about this one?
This one is a sorcery. Does not have flash. I don't think it's quite as powerful as the white blue one. Maybe the red one. It might be in the same range as. But the thing about this one is that it's unmasked, so. It's you're not like trading like a mana, like you're not like your free spell is not trading with like something that they paid mana for. So like with Solitude, for example, like you're paying 0 mana to deal with something that could cost a ton of mana, like a Primeval Titan, or you're doing the same thing with the blue one and you're trading with like once again Primeval Titan as a 6-strata spell. This one you're not getting that big tempo swing. The big thing though is that it's in the color black. So it has a lot of nice synergies with some of the graveyard based stuff. Anything that cares about a death trigger would be in the color black. You get to pitch Living End to this thing and then bring it back a Living End, which is like great because like that deck has nothing to do with the copies of Living End that it draws. It's a really cool interaction with that. You could see play in like a Vengevine strategy. I guess the other ones could too, but like black is kind of the main color for that. Stitcher's like that goes pretty well with Stitcher Supplier is another like low impact card that you want to have early, and then when you draw late, you can pitch it to this, or like you don't want to play too many, you can pitch it to this. So even though it's not like as raw power because it doesn't generate a tempo swing, there are a lot of synergies for this type of effect in the color black. There's even like a new card from the latest Zendikar set, Malakir Rebirth, which is one of the split lands. The next time target creature dies, it comes back. And there's Ephemerate, which is I think maybe this might be the best one to Ephemerate because you don't have to have they don't have to have 2 creatures like they do with Solitude. Like they just have to have cards in hand, and you turn 1 on the play do this. It's really busted. So even though this one, once again, even though this one isn't the most powerful, just like raw rate, there's a lot more synergies with this card than the other cards in this cycle.
Definitely. This one also has a pretty decent body. Just
it's a pretty good hard cast.
Yeah.
Not as good as some of the other ones, but it's 3/2 menace is no joke.
Yeah. Next up, we go from a very powerful card to, depending on your mono black madness tastes, another very powerful card. We've got Kitchen Imp, the 4-mana 2/2 flying haste for 1 if you madness it. I'm going to assume that this one is on here just because you enjoy playing mono black madness and also tricking people.
I think this
into
one,
thinking that you play mono black madness at the Pro Tour.
I think this one like I do like to joke about like random madness decks to play for fun or to troll people with, but this is a good rate. 1 black mana for 2/2 haste, if you're playing with the discard outlet, you can usually generate an advantage, like get ahead on cards by pitching it to something.
Yeah.
The trouble is, there's not after Faithful Student got the X, there's not as much there's not as much setup going on. Like playing this on turn 4 after you untap the Liliana the Veil, not breaking anything.
Yeah.
You gotta unless you have a lot of these things. So if there ever have enough discard outlets, maybe a couple other cards in the set could fulfill that role. But if you have powerful discard outlets, this is something that's pretty powerful. And once again, Vengevine is a big winner.
Vengevine's always a winner, it seems like. It's just kind of annoying. Next up, we have an homage to a banned modern card. But this is Magus of the Bridge, obviously going up against Bridge from Below. It has the same text, except this one is a 3-mana 4/4, which, like we were saying before, if there's a mono-black aggro deck or a mono-black I want black mana symbols in play deck, this goes right into that.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Grief enables all these strong death triggers in the color black. This is something that immediately, we get a strong death trigger in the color black. I do think they had to make the body good because it has a pretty restrictive drawback, which is it has the same drawback as Bridge from Below, but Bridge from Below goes to your graveyard, you didn't spend any mana on it because you're dredging or you're pitching into Faithful Suiting or whatever. And if you pay 3 black mana to put this into play, and then you get yourself into a situation where you have to kill an opponent's creature, it exiles itself, and that's like a pretty stiff drawback. So they had to make it. Giving it the good body, I think, is a smart decision as far as design goes.
This card could have been very messed up. But
I think you're gonna be safe. You're gonna be safe for this.
Next up, for all those Jund players that 1 Tarmogoyf ain't enough for them, they need the Necrogoif. This one, like we said, has madness on it, so mono black madness. I'm not sure that this one makes the cut, but
this one's a little bit.
It is a Lurgoif.
Well, 4 toughness is the correct amount of toughness to have for a playable modern, beefy creature. And you get a good deal if you are able to pay the madness cost. I don't think it's actually I think worse than Kitchen Imp, despite being a higher rarity than Kitchen Imp, just because that one it's really cheap to madness, and this one's a little more expensive. But if you're in the market for discard outlets and bodies, you can't go wrong with a 3-mana 5/4, 6/4,
something like that.
Yeah,
played against Dredge. Next up,
it's for the mirror. You're right.
Yeah, there you go. Next up, we have also how this hasn't happened. It's a 1-word card that has a keyword on it, Persyst, which is a mechanic that I know very well. They obviously didn't want to print Reanimate or Animate Dead.
It's evoking.
Yeah, so this is what they printed instead. This card seems very powerful and very scary.
Yeah, so one thing that I do like about the set in general is that there's not a lot of just in-your-face powerful cards, but there's a lot of cards that are going to enable new strategies in Modern, which I think is very cool. We haven't really had something like this before, like an Animate Dead style effect that where you can't put Crystal Brand into play because of the non-legendary thing. This I think so. Let's go down the list. There's the Arkhan from the earlier in the set review.
Yes.
You got Terastodon, Sundering Titan, go after your lands type things. There's Sphinx of the Steelwind if you're playing against a red deck. There's a lot of different things that you can put into play. But because it says non-legendary, you have to put some actual thought into what you're reanimating, and not just being Herder Gristlebrand, draw 7, combo off in the same turn. Yeah, it's a little bit more of like a mid-range, like reanimated shell, where you're gonna pick and choose which bolts to go get and what would hose them the most with your non-legendary A drop. I think that's a good thing to encourage in deck building.
Yep, this card's good. It should be good. It should be scary. I don't
know.
New
decks.
I love me some new decks in Modern. Next up, we have my nickname, or what could be my nickname. We have Profane Tutor, depending on who you ask if I'm tutoring or not that day. Where the fuck is Profane Tutor?
It's the suspend card again. It's fucked.
Oh, it's fucked up, okay.
Listen, just cross that shit off the list.
Yeah, never mind. Cut that. We would talk about Profane Tutor, but it sucks, so...
We decided to scrap everything but the white one.
There you go. Next up, because the other cards in this cycle kind of suck, we're going to talk about Resurgent Belief. It brings back all enchantment cards from your graveyard to your battlefield. This one seems pretty fun.
Yeah, so this cycle, they played it pretty safe. There's not a lot of game-breaking effects. There are a lot of fun deck building. There's a lot of fun deck building, though. This one, I think, is good for a couple reasons, and that's because you can actually, like, play this fair. You don't need to, like, jump through a bunch of hoops to, like, cheat out Living End with, like, the Cascade thing or playing Asphodel. You don't need to do any of that. You just, like, it just suspends for 2, comes in 2 turns, so it's pretty quick, and you don't have to, there's not a huge actual deck building cost because you can play cards like Sharp Typhoon, Cast Out, and Lay Claim, which cycle for pretty cheap. Lay Claim is kind of expensive. Shark Typhoon at least impacts the board and is expensive.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do with your expensive effect. But we actually played this on stream in Legacy with the original version of this card, Replenish, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm definitely excited to, you know, play a couple FNMs, maybe some for fun tournaments with this card, and cycle a couple Lay Claims, cast like suspend this card, steal a bunch of huge permanents, man, to put Shark Typhoon into play, a Cast Out into play. There's a couple other enchantments in the set that are powerful as well. So maybe I'm thinking too narrow with the cycling enchantment, with the cycling enchantments. And yeah, Replenish is a very powerful card. And yeah, if you want to talk, like, if you want to, like, just we could go over the other cards in this cycle real quick, and they're all bad. So we're not actually, I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yep. Next up, after that, we have Sudden Edict, which I have to scroll down to and find here.
That one's pretty simple. It's just Edict, but split second.
Oh, there you go. Edict, but split second. Something that we did need in Modern. I love split second cards.
Yeah, normally they make you pay a premium to. This is instant, right?
Yeah, it's an instant.
Yeah, normally they make you pay a premium to get split second on your card. You like disenchant cost 2, Cruising cost 3. But this one they're just like, hey, it's on the house, kid.
Yeah, normally they make you. It's not even like that premium, or it's like, oh, like the one from Ravnica block where they gain life equal to the creature's toughness or something like. This is just all
like
value.
The same card, but split second.
Yeah, this is
so
all
like
value.
So this gets around a lot of stuff that would normally mess with an edict. You can't get fetch Dried Arbor in response to this. You can't like give yourself hexproof in response to this.
Make a token.
Yeah, you can't raise the alarm. Whatever you want. There's a bunch of ways to like blow you out for playing an edict effect, and this gets around all of them. So this is a nice inclusion to Modern, I think. It's even better in Legacy, because Legacy has a lot of cards like Merit Lage and True Name Nemesis, and I'm sure there's other Shroud threats in that format. So so great in Legacy, good in Modern. Like just like
there's a green-black like rock deck that'll play 2 of these.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a removal spell that you're gonna play in the right situation. Coming up a lot in Legacy and a fair amount in Modern.
Next up, if you know me in playing Legacy, you might not know that I enjoy a Hymn to Turok or 2. So this is the man himself. This is Turok Dread Cantor. So this is it's pretty wordy. So if you can't read it here, I'll read it for you. It's got pro white for whatever reason. I don't know. But whenever an opponent discards a card, you put a counter on it, and then if you kick it, you get a Hymn to Turok out of it.
Very flavorful.
Yeah, very flavorful, very cool. Mono black aggro. Pay 4 mana for a Hymn to Turok and a 4/3.
Yeah, so we just talked about a card that's much better in Legacy than it is in Modern. Once again, I think this fulfills the same boat. Mostly because the body pro white. Modern, Pro White, Modern, whatever, dude. Like, do your thing. Pro White and Legacy is a little bit bigger of a deal because of the card storage to plowshares. Maybe Solitude will get us there as well.
Yeah.
But in Modern, this thing has 1 toughness. It's kind of like 4 to make people discard cards. They might not even care by that point. You could play it in. I guess you could play it in the rack, which is harder to pull off in Legacy, and kind of use this as a beater because it grows whenever your opponent discards cards.
Yeah.
But it's kind of awkward to play this thing without a kicker. It's just Pro White and 1 toughness is a lot easier to stomach, and I guess it's Modern. So I would look more towards Legacy.
It's a really cool card, but like Eli said, probably not in Modern. Next up, we have Unmarked Grave, which is a rare, and I'm stalling.
It's right there.
Oh, search your library for a non-legendary card, put it in your graveyard, then shuffle. What is this card? Entomb?
Yeah, it's Entomb, but once again, we're stopping Grizzlebrand shenanigans. We're forcing you Reanimator players to put some thought into your deck building. This card is not just for creatures as well. You can put anything you want in your graveyard, so maybe there's like a Past in Flames angle that we're not seeing on the surface, or like a Vengevine maybe, yeah. But this card obviously pairs very well with Persyst, which was a few cards ago. Just setting up tutoring for your Terrastodon versus Tron, and your Sphinx of the Steel Wind versus Burn, and your Arkhan versus like your Tarmogoyf Death Shadow, like Protect the Queen 1 threat decks. So it can just like it's obvious. The most obvious home is there, but I think people are not looking deep enough yet with this card. There's more stuff that you can do with an Entomb than Reanimator.
This one seems like needs a home to be found. There isn't a deck like that in Modern that's not trying to get Grizzlebrand. So put some thought into it if you want to play this. If you want to port your Reanimator deck
Innovative new deck building.
Next up, we have a weird card on our list that I actually hadn't seen before, but this seems like it's a friend of Tarmogoyf or friend of something that needs card types in the graveyard.
I know. I put that on.
We have World Weary. Why is this on the list, Eli?
Okay. This is good. I think we talked about in the white cards. We talked about the Replenish card.
Yes.
And this card goes very well with that because it's a cycling enchantment. Also, enchantment is a hard type card type to get in your graveyard in general. If you're playing a like all-in Tarmogoyf style deck, like a Death Shadow deck, basic land cycling is a little bit tougher to stomach, but crusading your Tarmogoyfs is pretty good. I don't know. I might be too narrow. I might be too big of a Tarmogoyf simp for this one, but it's my list, so.
It's our list, so we're talking about this one. Next up, we'll get to the black cards that are from Legacy and new to Modern.
There aren't some good ones. There's one very good one, though.
So we've got some cards that you might think would make the cut here in Bone Shredder. Bone Shredder, maybe.
Yeah.
Bone Shredder's good. Everybody knows what Bone Shredder does. Braids, I think, you might be wrong on, but Braids also seems like it might not make the cut in Modern because it's too expensive.
Is it boltable? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's boltable. It's a powerful card, but come on, like
Modern's the wrong home for that.
We've got Greed, which is one of the ones where you put it in your graveyard, and if you have a swamp, it does something. Yeah,
that's filth.
Yeah. Oh, it's filth. Oh,
yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh, Greed is pay black and draw cards. There's better cards.
Clunky as hell.
Yeah. So the one that we are going to talk about is Patriarchs Bidding. I'm just gonna let Eli simmer here for a little bit
because there's a lot you can do with this card.
We both love us some combo goblins. If you look at our videos and you say like, why do they hate merfolk so much but then love goblins? I don't know, but
we spend so much time attacking with the humans deck, and we're just like, we want more utility from our creatures. Goblins is a creature type that does a lot other things than attack. You can attack, but like, there's like, okay, so there's a ton of stack outs of goblins. There's a ton of like 2-card combos and 2 or 3-card combos with goblins. There's like a Persist combo with Grumgully and the tutor for Modern Horizons. There's like Hiki Jiki loops with that and the Champion of Goblin tap to bolt guy. There's you could just get 20 of them into play and kill your opponent with Siege Gang Commander or a Sling Gang Lieutenant. There's a bunch of like ways you can fuel this card. I'm pretty sure Goblins is the only creature type with enough like combo potential to make this card work. Maybe there's a way with Clerics, but that's a much weaker creature type in general. So I think that you could have a lot of fun building like a mill yourself, kill your opponent with Kiki Jiki and the champion goblin, or any of those loops. 20
Goblins. That'll do it for our black set review. That's all the cards that we want to talk about here. If there's any other ones that you want us to talk about, sorry, we already did the video. But that'll do it from Eli and I to you. And thank you for watching, and make sure to check out our other set reviews for Modern Horizons 2.